Hey there, everybody. Welcome. We're so glad to have you with us. We are at the NEDAS NYC Summit here in September at Convene 42nd Street. And I'm hanging out here with Tom Brown, President and CEO of DataGrid. How are you, my friend?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking the time to sit down and talk. I know it's a chaotic meeting, so I'm glad we've got this one-on-one moment. Let's start out by going into a little bit of background about who DataGrid is, what you're doing within the marketplace, and how you're serving the industry right now.
Sure. DataGrid is the single largest data center here in the island of Manhattan, located at the iconic 60 Hudson Street. We actually have 2 floors, 120,000 square feet. One thing that's unique about DataGrid is that we had the vision of providing diverse power feeds into the building. Power is actually paramount, as you see in the marketplace and the evolving technologies, is that power, you're seeing the increments of power per footprint in a data center where wireline and wireless meet. It's really, really important. We actually have a total of 15 megawatts of power. That's astounding, especially here in the marketplace. The other thing that differentiates DataGrid that not a lot of people know, and if you want to talk about a disruptor in the marketplace, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show today, is our ability to mitigate the interconnect burden. And there's a thing called a cross connect. And today, with bandwidth being continually being a low cost item now in the marketplace, interconnectivity within buildings still maintains the same price. We have a product called Direct Connect, where you actually direct connect from our suite to anywhere in the building, and it mitigates that cross connect. And it's actually a conduit, and they can pull their conduit. So there's really 2 things that we're bringing to the marketplace that is really a differentiator.
Talk about those as differentiators. How does it break the norm and break the standard of what we've been used to?
So think of 60 Hudson Street as a large aggregation point. Over 300 providers exist in that building today. So when you think about 60 Hudson Street, it's globally renowned, particularly here in the States, as a large aggregation point. It's a historical building, but when you think about connectivity today, there are meet me areas. And in this particular building does not have a sanctioned meet me room. There are meet me areas where there's actually connectivity within given suites where you connect. So you're connecting from your footprint to a centralized meet me area and then to your partner. Whereas we have the ability to mitigate that and directly connect via conduit within the riser system of the building down to directly to your partner. We've done a couple of case studies where it could reduce significant amount of cost. So when you take a look at 60 Hudson Street, you're looking at the total cost of ownership, right? You're looking at, what does it offer from a power perspective, but also from a connectivity perspective, we have options now.
And what is that going to mean in this continual push toward 5G? How is that helping to propel things forward, and how do you be responsive to it at DataGrid?
So I believe that we're well positioned on these emerging technologies, right? 5G today, we think about 5G, a lot of things, right? But we are well positioned because 5G, as well as an edge data center, it really centers around aggregation. So when you think about aggregation and the ease of connectivity, we're well positioned.
Let's go to new technologies. You just rolled out a brand new offering into the marketplace, MegaSuite 6. I've got the name of that correct.
That's correct.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about MegaSuite 6 and what it is that is getting people excited about this?
So we have 2 floors, right? One is 60,000 square feet where it was a wholesale model, where we actually sold it to one of our anchor tenants, DRT Telex. We see now the shift in the market where folks are taking smaller increments of space. The actual processing power is increased, which then entails more power, but you're seeing the footprints being a lot smaller. So we're looking at it now, we're saying, hey, you're going to take, and by default, an edge data center, you're taking a smaller increment of space, but the processing power is greater. So we're well positioned in both areas. So we have the ability to build out 5 1-megawatt data halls, and I'm glad to let everybody know to come down and have a tour of our newly constructed 1-megawatt data hall that we just completed just a few weeks ago.
You must have been reading my mind, because I was going to ask you 2 things. I was going to ask you, what is the best story that you can tell around MegaSuite 6 that gets people on board and understanding exactly what's available? And number 2 is, what is that primary call to action? So we just sort of switched it. You've already done the call to action stuff. What is the best story, the most simple story that lets people know what's possible?
So what's possible is that you're able to design your own space. It is not cookie cutter. If you're able to take a look at the space and say, here's what we need, and we'll build it for you. that is very comforting for our folks. The also is who's our addressable market? Our market is broad. It's a traditional service provider. It is a content provider. It is a cloud provider. It is a large enterprise, whether it's fintech or hospitality, you name it. We're a broad audience that our addressable market here in New York, being in close proximity to, especially particularly the financial services area.
Absolutely. All right, last thing that I want to ask you, and then we'll wrap things up a bit. Why NEDAS? What is it about this particular meeting, the gathering of people that is here in this room, that makes you want to be a part of it, that gets you excited?
I am really excited because the emergence of these new technologies need these aggregation points. Wireline meets wireless, but I'd like to add a third. Where do they meet? They meet in aggregation points and data centers, and we're well positioned.
Excellent, excellent.
Great.
We're so glad to have you here and be a part of it. How available are you to people who watch this and they say, hey, I want to get in touch, I want to talk with Tom?
Sure, you can reach out to me directly. My email, tbrown@datagrid.com. And we'll go ahead and schedule a tour. I'm very available.
Tom, such a pleasure. Thank you for taking
Thank
the
you.
time to talk. Thanks for being a part of the meeting today. And thanks to all of you for watching.
Much appreciated. Thank you.